Hey guys, how you doing? This is Benjamin with Premium Exotics, and in this video today, we're looking at the infamous Leopard Gecko versus Ball Python, two of the most common pet reptiles in the trade today, how they stand up against each other, and which one overall makes the better pet. Now, of course, there's not going to be a definitive one is better than the other, but we're going to compare a bunch of different topics, including their care, food, availability, space, caging and everything, and see which one is right for you. So without further ado, let's get straight into the video. So, on my left, we have the famous, the only, Leopard Gecko, just like that girl right there. And then, actually, this camera, I cannot believe this is working so good. We can see their colors amazingly in this bin. I'm going to have to keep using this technique. And then on our right, we have the snake that really boosted the industry and really started the investment and business side of the, reptile investing, which is the ball python. This is a lesser heifer clown that I've got. So, it looks like they're both going to try to escape, so let's try to keep them in there. So, first thing we'll look at is price and availability. So, with both of these guys, you're not going to have any problem finding them and being able to afford them. Now, overall, the ball pythons can get much more expensive than the leopard geckos. We're looking at scaleless stuff, even just scaleless heads, sun glows, or any like 5-gene animal. You're looking at, if you want a really nice ball python, you might be spending, $1,000 or so, but most people just want a simple morph like a lesser, which we've got right here, which is still beautiful in its own right. And these guys are going to go for maybe, normal lesser, $75. With your leopard geckos, most of their morphs are very affordable and readily available at any show or online. Even pet stores have many of the morphs, though I wouldn't recommend going to pet stores too much. And the leopard geckos are not going to cost you too much to get into the basic morphs. Max knows the max you're looking at is like maybe $80. So these guys on the price range for just basic morph or even the normal are pretty close, and their availability, they're just everywhere. So second one is caging. You really have to judge your lifestyle. Are you prepared to have an animal like a ball python that's going to need the space of a 41-quart, tub at some point, or at least the floor space? It could be a tank or whatever. And are you prepared to be able to care for, a tank that big? Now, it's not very hard, of course, but when we look at the leopard gecko, they're able to be kept in a significantly smaller tub. Like, I think this is like a 15-quart Sterilite tub. So, I'm looking at caging. Of course, because these guys have bigger caging, theirs is going to be more expensive. And these guys also have smaller caging. So if you're looking for something just for like a dorm room or something, that's not going to take up very much space and not going to be very hard to clean. The leopard gecko might be your best bet. They don't take that much space, very easy to clean, and they're not going to have even close to the amount of space needed for a ball python. Now, they don't have any special lighting requirements, which is also good, which lowers the price on their caging. The second one, or the third one actually, is special requirements. The only special requirements of these two I can think of, it's nothing special like a, needing UVB or anything like that. The only special requirements of each is that the ball pythons require a much higher amount of humidity when they are shedding, and the leopard geckos need calcium to be adjusted on all foods in order to prevent metabolic bone disease. Because, as you might be able to see with this little girl, see her spine popping up right there? That's what happens if you don't give your leopard gecko, calcium powder. So if you're looking for an animal that's more bulletproof and is able to take a little bit, lacking of different things than the other, ball python might be a better option for you. They don't require any supplements, and as long as you give them at least a little bit of humidity in a hide box and, a moist shed box, you're going to be just fine with all their special requirements. Ease of care. Both of these are extremely easy to care for. I'm going to call these guys equal on ease of care because leopard geckos need a little bit more with calcium dusting and they need live insects, whereas ball pythons will normally take frozen. But ball pythons could also require live, and they do have a bigger cage, which is going to require a little bit more time to clean out. So, in terms of ease of care, I'm just going to call these guys equals on that, so you guys can just choose which one you think would be easier for you. Color variation is going to have to go to the ball python. I mean, besides maybe like a completely blue snake, the ball pythons have got it all. They've got all sorts of patterns, colors, and if you're willing to pay the price, or if you have, enough money to invest in a very quality good quality, healthy pet, you can basically get any color you want with a ball python. It's very close to with the leopard gecko, but with the leopard gecko, you're mostly just going to get different patterns like yellow, orange, white, and others. They don't have too much variation, whereas the ball pythons can have completely white, black. I'm not saying leopard geckos are bad, but overall, ball pythons completely dwarf them when it comes to color variation and color morphs. Food. This is a very important aspect of leopard gecko versus ball python. When we're looking at food, there's two things we're looking at: availability and price. So, of course, very obvious, the ball python is much bigger of an animal, so it's going to, of course, require much more food. This is a baby ball python, maybe 4 or 5 months old, and this is an adult leopard gecko. You can easily see that once this snake grows up, it's going to need to eat something much bigger than this. So if you're looking for a pet that's not going to cost you very much, I would go with the leopard gecko. Ball pythons are going to cost you, for a female, they could be costing you $100 a year. Now, that's not too much to keep an amazing, awesome pet, but it is something you definitely have to consider. If you're just getting started out in college or something like that, in a dorm room, a ball python might not be the best choice for you if you don't have, the money to afford it. And then availability for food, both of these guys are pretty simple. As long as you have either a pet store or like a bait shop around, you should be able to get plenty of food for your leopard gecko. Mainly mealworms, sometimes supplement with waxworms, or dubia roaches would be great. With the ball pythons, as long as you can get them to eat frozen, you shouldn't have any problem. You can order frozen online. But another knock on them with food overall is that if they don't take frozen, live rats are much harder to find than live bugs for the leopard gecko. So in terms of food, the ball python isn't doing too good. Costs more, and it also is much harder to find their food if they require live. And it looks like she's licking her little eye right there, so we'll zoom in on her face. Go back in, please. Come on. Another thing we're looking at is size. So this has its positives and negatives. If you want a smaller animal that's not very intimidating, which a ball python is not, but if you're looking for something that's much smaller, just something you can fit in the palm of your hand, nothing too big, a leopard gecko would be right for you. Now, if you're looking for something that's going to be a lot more bulletproof, not literally, but something to be able to take a lot more of a beating and a lot more, hardy than the leopard gecko, the ball python is going to be your best option if you're looking for that. They're very reliable. They can bounce back very easily from burns, bites, and everything. And even though you want to prevent that, if it would ever happen, you're going to have a lot more success, bringing one of these guys back to health than a leopard gecko. It's just because they have really small, toenails and eyes, and ball pythons are basically just one big body, no legs, no limbs to deal with, and just a head and eyes. So in terms of size, you guys really have to decide. The ball python is going to be more bulletproof, but it is much bigger, and the leopard gecko is much smaller, easier probably to handle than maybe a big ball python, but that also means they're going to be less bulletproof, so you guys will have to make your decision there. And then last and overall is going to be probably the biggest one for most of you guys, is hardiness. And both of these we can basically deem as equals. They're very easy to take care of. They have very small requirements. The only way you're going to get any easier with a ball python, at least, is getting a corn snake, because they don't require, too much special humidity for shedding, and they take food a little bit better. But besides that, the ball python is one of the hardiest, if not the hardiest snake, besides maybe a corn snake, in the entire reptile industry. As for leopard geckos, in my opinion, the only way you can make them any better, besides the basic, cleaning them out, is to have them not need to be supplemented by calcium. And in the future, with scientific advancements and different breeding methods, hopefully we'll see a vitabug or some sort of insect that can give our leopard geckos all the care and all the nutrition they need without having to have external supplements. So, throughout these different categories, hopefully you guys can make the best choice for the best pet that you want. Both of these guys make incredible options, and I hope you guys can enjoy your new pet. Thank you guys very much for watching this video. If you liked the video, please give it a like, and if you like the channel, subscribe. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys later.